Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Manhattan Mondays. Today we have our special guest is Kwodwo Brannigan. So, Mr. Brannigan, we're gonna get right to the questions.
Okay.
You've been a major player in youth baseball scene for years, especially coaching and teaching fundamentals. What are you doing now that you're excited and passionate about?
Well, there's a couple of things going on with me right now in regards to baseball. Currently, I have about 4 young men from the Virgin Islands that came in specifically to play summer baseball with the program that I'm part of, which is Nelson Baseball School. I coach a 17U team, and out of the 4 guys, I have 3 guys playing with me. We have Lennon Richmond, we have Terrell George, and Janal Tuit. And then on the higher bracket, which is the 18U, I have a gentleman by the name of Miguel Encarnacion that's playing. So that's pretty exciting for me, given these young men from the Virgin Islands opportunity to come up and play summer ball, especially in the times that we're in right now with the pandemic and just all the crazy stuff that's going on. So I'm very excited about that and where it can go for these guys. Ultimately, you know, why they are here is to try to solidify hopefully a college scholarship or some type of interest in the near future when it comes to you know, collegiate baseball and, you know, getting a scholarship. So I'm pretty excited about that. Also, to have just taken on a venture that was opportunity that was given to me by Sports Park and Rec to do a virtual hitting training program, 6-week program, along with some other programs that they're doing, other sports. That we're supposed to start yesterday. We had a little hiccup, but it's supposed to begin tomorrow, where we're going to be doing virtual training with the young kids. That's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be challenging. It's something I've never done before. I mean, I've done videos and whatnot with kids, but now to have this done, I'm on a bigger platform across Facebook, across a Zoom platform. That's pretty exciting and challenging, to say the least. And just being back in the flow of things with the baseball, the summer program, you know, we have actually started playing games, playing in tournaments. Unbeknown to a lot of people, a lot of folks are kind of surprised. You know, Georgia sort of opened up their market. So we are part of that. We are full-fledged playing baseball. Of course, you know, you gotta, with the 6 feet and all of that, you know, you're playing baseball, that's kind of a little difficult. But for the most part, those are the things right now I would say that's going on in my life in terms of baseball, sports. That's about it.
You mentioned the pandemic earlier. How did it impact your efforts? It slowed down sports a little bit, but how did it impact you specifically?
Well, for me personally, I was directly impacted because I had just gotten a job as a JV head coach for a private school, Mount Vernon High School, team Mount Vernon Mustang. I just gotten that job in the fall. So here it is, we're about to get into the season in the spring, and here hits the pandemic. So that throws everything out of whack. So that never happened for me. And so I have 2 sons. One is a senior, was a senior in high school. The other one is a senior returning with all the stuff that's going on, Shorter University. So I was basically getting ready to go and see those guys play out their season. So that never happened. So in terms of baseball, I mean, everything for me sort of, I don't want to say spiral, but for everyone, things were kind of put on the backside. However, I must say with every pushback, there are opportunities, or there are things that you could kind of redirect your focus. So for me, I mean, it kind of put life, made me think a little bit more introspective, reflective about life in general, about baseball. No, so I didn't have the opportunity to physically be involved with baseball. So what it ended up doing for me is I spend more time now focusing on researching the mental side of sports. You know, the sports psychiatry type stuff, psychologist type stuff. So that even added more value to me being a coach, a trainer. It's things that I've done. You know, they talk about baseball being 80% mental. It really is. You know, because there's a lot of things that's going on that kind of drives the physical. You know, so yeah, even though there was a let back or somewhat of a drawback, I found the time to be a time where you could really get to know yourself, spend time with your family, and so on and so forth.
You mentioned the mental aspects of the sport. Is that something? Because I know it's kind of tough right now to have practices and live practices. Is that mental aspect something that you're talking to your players about right now?
Well, right now like I said, we were actually playing. We're practicing, we're playing. However, it's just an area of sports that's really not addressed, especially on the amateur level. Like everybody is a buzzword, sports is mental, blah, 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 especially baseball. But people don't really dive in to the intricacies of what it means by the sport is mental. I guess I can give you some examples. Let's say, for instance, a hitter, right? Baseball, a guy that's hitting. We don't know what's going on in a player's mind. Coaches don't most of the time don't spend time to figure out what's going on in a player's mind. But the way the player perceives and think about the game and approach the game is going to impact the outcome. So if you're a guy that's hitting and you're telling yourself things like, I gotta get a hit, I don't need to strike out, I need to make this play, you're putting additional pressure on yourself. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I've spent some time doing some research, reading books, so on and so forth, about how to kind of, as a coach, help players understand and zone in and focus on the areas mentally that they need to do that would impact the game in a great way, to give them more success. Even learning out or knowing how to deal with success. I mean, you can play and some guys can't deal with success, and keeping that even keel. When you're up, you're up. When you're down, you're down. Let's keep it centered. So for me, some guys naturally have it. They have players that are naturally like that. What I find for most of the time, you have to, as a coach, there's things that you can impart into a player to help them rise their game and keep them focused and basically channel in the right direction. So the game is mental. Like physically, if your mind is going to make your body do what it's supposed to do. When it comes in terms of physically, emotionally, and all of that. So making guys understand you got to harness the mental game. If you could harness your mental game, it's going to make your physical game easier. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it's been really good for me being able to at least focus on that, because I spend a lot of time training, practicing, all of that stuff. You don't really get to focus on, what's going on in the mind. How can you make this mind make the body function the way it's supposed to? How can you get guys more focused and prepared for the moment versus just going up and just reacting? You know what I mean?
As discussions about the future of sports continue, how do you see the landscape changing, first in the territory and then abroad in the States and further than that as well?
So I had some time to really kind of think about that, but actually that's a very good question. So, I mean, realistically for me, when I look at the Virgin Islands, let's be honest, at least for baseball, things are sort of like in shambles right now. We need a resurrection. And when I say that, I mean from every aspect, the fields we don't have proper facilities. Right now you guys are under the COVID rule law right now where, guys can't even go out and practice on the field and whatnot. So for me, for me, everything is opportunities. How I look at it is with where we are at the lowest point right now in the sport. For me, that creates opportunities in terms of rebuilding from scratch. You know, the Virgin Islands have a unique opportunity now to do a lot of things from the ground up. I mean, facility-wise, I mean, in terms of organization, we focusing the efforts to maybe what are we trying to accomplish here. A lot of people look at sports, baseball in particular, like as something amateur. How I look at it is opportunities for these kids to be able to go off and get a college degree and do bigger, better things with their life, as well as come back and put back something into the community. So for me, I see the future as being bright if people could start buying in and the different stakeholders start to play their part and play their role. You can't do it by yourself. Like for me, I'm playing my role. I'm just a guy that's trying to get the young man in a situation where they could present their talents. And so I'm promoting the players. However, there are other people at other different levels of sports that everybody got to play their part. The parents got to play their role. You got to make sure that the kids are doing well in school. So when opportunities are presenting in terms of colleges, looking at the kids, that the kids are prepared. The league officials got to, do their role and try to figure out how can we make these leagues, these organizations better, more proficient, where when opportunities are presented later on for the kids, when they're of age, that they can take full grasp of it. You know, the government got to play their role. I mean, for me personally, a lot of people like to kind of point fingers at the government. I'm not that guy. I think the government plays a role. I think they should create the resources or give resources for the organizations to be able to perform at a high level. Personally, for me, everything is about, I'm trying to figure out how to get these guys or get things to an elite level, not just playing a sport. But the Virgin Islands, man, we over the years, all sports, we have been producing a good number of high-level athletes without a system. No system. Baseball, there's no baseball system to say, like, when you look at islands like Curacao, Puerto Rico, their professional guys have came back and gave back to their community and has fostered relationship with the government and private corporation and enterprises, where now when you look at their players, they actually have guys, they're spitting guys out. Like when you think about Curacao, you think about Puerto Rico, you expect to see a level of play and you expect to see a number of guys in that whatever system, that engine being spit out. We spin guys up without no engine, without no system. We spin guys up, right? We spin guys up. We have guys right now playing professional ball. We got guys in the MLB. We got guys, quite a number of guys playing college baseball. So we have the athletes, but we don't have the system. So for me, we have to figure out how to connect the dots. I don't think it's very hard. I think that the components are there. It's just that people got to realize everybody has to play their role instead of someone trying to beat the guy or you're trying to blame that guy over there, whatever. Everybody has to play their role. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to play my role. I'm here to be part of the network or the dot connection. I'm here, it's all about building relationships, building relationships, and it's not about necessarily I gotta really love you or like you. I have to first respect you and what you do, and we gotta find a way to just make things happen. So, I mean, I really see the future be bright. The future is very bright once the people realize the power that we have in the community effort. Once we understand that, I think a lot of things that could happen. So I'm hoping that people can look at a person like me and see what I'm trying to do and be very supportive of my effort, and also to join in with the effort. Because at the end of the day, for me, it's not about me. It's about the youth of the Virgin Islands. And when I say that, I mean everyone. You know, I'm not just saying necessarily the local guys. I would like to see other kids on the scene when it comes to the sport of baseball. I would like to see other people integrated into the sport. Because at the end of the day, it's about who lives in the Virgin Islands. It's about the Virgin Islands. It's not about any particular group of people in the Virgin Islands. You know, so I think the future is bright. I think we have a way. We got to start have these conversations. You know, we got to start talking about things about the islands, how we could make things happen as a community. You know, instead of kind of partitioning things off. So I'm feeling good about. I'm doing my part, and I'm involved in things that I think guys are starting to really come out and be more open to where baseball could be, where baseball could go in terms of the professional guys from the professional level down. So I kind of see things happening in the near future.
You spoke about the effects of the pandemic on sports itself, the lack of practice, the lack of being together. But you are currently playing baseball or coaching baseball.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about how you guys are getting it done? How are you interacting with your players? Are you in empty stadiums or do you have fans? I mean, tell me about how you're getting this done.
What I'm about to tell you might be shocking. It might be a negative to some people. Well, I'm in Georgia, and I'm here in Georgia with the pandemic, with the mask wearing, and you know, keeping precautions. When it comes to baseball, to be quite honest, players are not wearing masks. Umpires are not wearing masks. Coaches are not wearing masks. We are just playing the game. So of course, there's a level of risk involved. I'm being quite honest. And when you look out in the stands, at first when they began, it was never where parents had to wear masks, but you would see parents wearing masks, but now it's kind of more open. People are just, some wear masks, some don't. So up in Georgia, I can tell you, people are very, I don't want to say that they don't believe in the pandemic. They know it's there, it's real, but they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're just allowing it to flow. You know, they're taking, I guess, their precautions away from on the side. But in terms of baseball, people are they're just playing. They're just playing. So the rules are, if you're sick, you stay home. If you feel any kind of how, you stay home. And I guess every family has to have their own way of dealing with precautions, whether, you know, taking medicine or wearing a mask or whatever. So it's pretty much open. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know on the major league level, it's gonna be interesting to see how they're doing it professionally. But it's kind of touchy. I mean, to really, if you're gonna play baseball, to have people wearing masks all the time is very, very difficult. So for me personally, with my guys, I'm taking precaution in whatever manner I can. But the proximity to players, to coaches, to umpires, to just the flow of the game, it's baseball as regular. It's baseball as regular.
Are there any Virgin Islands athletes playing baseball that we should keep an eye on, either locally, collegiately, or professionally?
There's quite a number. So I actually had a list here, but I don't want to name everyone. So I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit. From on a professional level, of course, you know, you got the Jabari Brash and you got Jarrell Cotton and Domingo Santana. But there are a couple of guys in the minor leagues that I think at some point things may, you know, pick up where they may get an opportunity. That's Micah Zapata. Of course, originally he was born in the DR, but he lived in the DR, I think, from the time he was like 2 years old or something. So I consider him of like a Virgin Islander. And then we have Israel. What's his last name again? Israel. Jeez, for some reason I forgot his last name, but Israel. Wilson, sorry. He plays for the Rays. The Rays. I think he's in the AA system. So I mean, these guys know how the system goes with baseball. I mean, it's just about, I don't want to say luck, but it's just being in the right place at the right time. A lot of times when it comes to having an opportunity to move up and get a chance in the big league. So I'm hopeful for those guys. On the collegiate level now, I'm going to first of all call my son's name Kwodwo Brannigan. He's a senior at Shorter University. So I think if he end up having a big senior year, because there's a couple people looking at him, he possibly could be a draft pick, a signing for a professional team. Another kid is Jamoy Percival. Right now he's at, I think, Grambling State. He's a guy that also has the chance of maybe getting picked up by a professional team. Kilani Luke is another one. He's at Jackson State. He's a shortstop at Jackson State. We also have, of course, Alex McFarlane playing at a University of Miami. We got Jelani Rogers. This is a kid coming out of high school right now. He's with Juice Maduro, who's out in Florida. I don't know if you heard of him. He also sort of does what I've been doing, like taking a kid or two. His son plays is Duanye. He's the guy that has Najee Victor. Of course, he was highly looked at by the scouts in this past draft. However, they only drafted like 5 rounds. So I think if there were more rounds, he definitely would have been drafted. So he's also going to college, but he's high on the radar for a lot of scouts. Tristan Moore also. He lives, everyone knows him, he's down in St. Thomas. I think the last thing I heard, he was going to Broward University. I'm not sure how that's working out right now, but he's another guy that's being highly recruited and looked at from a professional standpoint. Then there's other younger guys coming up that I think probably going to have a good shot once they continue to develop physically and mentally with the sport. My other son, Kwodwo Brannigan, he plays shortstop. He's going to Georgia Highlands this year. I'm kind of high on him. I've been watching him for a while from a baseball perspective, and he's a very impressive guy. We have one of the kids that I brought in. To be quite honest with you, I only remembered him when he was 30, but what I'm seeing right now, his name is Terrell George. Very, very interesting guy. He has the physical stature. He's about 6'1", 195 pounds, playing outfield and pitches. And so far, he's played in maybe two tournaments. He's opening some eyes. He's really opening some eyes. So, I gave him an opportunity to come up here and play with my team. And it's really working out wonders for him as well as us. Tashawn Drew, that's another kid. I don't remember exactly. I know he just transferred from a junior college. He's going to a 4-year school. I'm not sure what school, but very talented guy as well. Another guy to look out for. Another kid is Jelbasio Sakaraya. I think he's up in Oklahoma playing JUCO baseball. Kenny Jackson Jr., who just played with my son, just graduated from the same high school and playing for the same travel team. He's another guy to look out for. He plays the outfield. And another kid that kind of sticks out in my mind is Ivan Van Beverhout. Young dude. He's the youngest out of the crew, and he's 16 years, about to get into college. Very smart guy, super smart guy. 4.3 above or something like that. But so a guy that sort of been in the background that I see with very good body. I see him really developing into something. And there's quite I don't want to miss anyone. There's a lot of other guys that are sort of like sleepers that we have a ton of guys. I have a list here of about over 20 guys that something big could happen for. Whether getting into college and playing good college baseball or maybe getting an opportunity to play pro. So, like I said, for me, the sky is the limit. Even though we're looking at the scene in the islands itself, which kind of, is a little bit dim with the leagues and so on and so forth, the facilities. I'm telling you, man, we actually have guys out there making a name for the boys, making a name for themselves, their family, and the boys, as we currently speak.
Yeah, just listen to that list, that long list of players. The Virgins have talent just waiting in the wings,
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about, I know you're involved in connecting VI athletes to travel opportunities. What what do you look for in a player when you you think they're ready to go to the next level?
Okay, so there's a couple components in there for me. First of all, the parents. And when I say the parents, if all the guys that I saw that I've dealt with or deal with, their parents understand that it's an investment, like in their kid. So it's not just about baseball. They themselves have to realize, you know, they invest in their kids, and that's not just monetarily, time. So you got to be, the parents got to understand it's an investment. The kids themselves got to understand it's not just about baseball. First of all, it's about the education. So you're not gonna send a kid here who want to be a professional baseball player, because there's a process. For me, I don't want you thinking about the pros. I want you thinking about school, getting into college. So you got to get the grades. When you come and you play baseball, the first thing a coach that is interested in you or the player, he's gonna ask is, you know, what kind of student is he? What kind of grades he got? That is the first question. Oh, I like that kid. How is he doing in school? How did he do on his SAT? And you know, that is going to be the determining factor whether you get it or not. You know what I mean? So I look for guys that understand the importance of school, their parents invest in them, and as well as I'm looking for the guy who could be the elite athlete. I'm being quite honest. You got to be bringing something to the table. When you come up here to play, like in the arena I'm in, you can't be somebody you got to be teaching everything. So you got to come up here with some skills, you know, as well as the ability to improve your skill set. But you got to be bringing something to the table. So for me right now, when I bring a kid here to play with me, my coaches or the guy that runs the organization don't question me anymore, because he know I'm bringing someone that can ball out. You see what I'm saying? I'm bringing a guy ready to go. You might see some areas where they're kind of rough, because you know, if you're coming from the BI, you know, you haven't played, you've been playing at some level of baseball. We don't play as much baseball as here. We don't have the facilities to train. So there's a whole list of things, disadvantages that we have. However, the guys from the BI are really, really athletic, and we have skills. I'm telling you. So kudos to the league and the programs that are on a lower level that have done stuff in terms of improving the guys. When I get all the guys I have here, they're playing on my team as starters. And I didn't just bring them to be starters. I sort of allowed them to get into the lineup where they kind of took their positions. You know what I mean? So I mean that's it for me. Guys that are I want guys that are serious about the sport and about their future. You know, you're not gonna come here and stay in my house, and everybody stays in my house. You stay with me. It's not time for wasting. We're trying to get you to the next level. You know, I make my guys also understand that when you come here, my motto is, I'm helping you for you to help others. So everybody that's part of my team is involved in me. At some point, they got to be involved in back home. You know what I mean? Whether hopefully later on through you may be helping with a clinic or whatever it is. I want them to be able to pass on the information or pass on something to the kids who are coming up as well. So, I mean, that's basically for me, man. And of course, I'm part of, you know, I have I have a group of people that I'm kind of associated with who are pretty serious about the sport. So I'm always in the loop with who is who and what is what when it comes to sports and giving opportunity. And I've not really been bringing people because this is something I'm trying to make a business out of. I just do it. I like doing it. You know, if I see where I could help someone and the door is open there for me to bring you up and showcase your talent, that's what I've been doing.
A quick follow-up. You mentioned the transition from being a VI athlete and then going to the States. I mean, we don't play enough. There's some rough areas, but tell me about that transition. I've always heard that the VI athlete can transition very quickly, you know, a matter of maybe a couple weeks or a month, and they're right on par with everybody else. Tell me about that transition.
So let me just so playing baseball in the Virgin Islands has a level of competition. So even though we made guys go up playing against the same set of guys, same amount of teams, you know, then we have the little inter-island rivalries and stuff. But it's very, very competitive. It's very competitive. From the coaching to the players, everybody wants to win. The camaraderie in the fans, in the stands. So our guys are accustomed to, gotta get the job done. Let's go, you gotta get it. Actually, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. So with that said, and you know, the coaching is not really, you know, the coaching is good enough where you could get guys to teach them fundamentals and stuff. So when our guys get thrown in the big sea of things, we are accustomed to it. We are accustomed to the noise. We are accustomed to the rah, rah, rah. We are accustomed to it. You know what I mean? So guys are not, the better players are not really nervous. They're ready to go and perform. You put them in, it's just another game. I think when you come from the islands, you learn that it's just another game. And really and truly, when you think about when we play like in Asa and stuff like that against the other local islands, surrounding islands and the Latins and stuff, it's very competitive. You know, Little League, Latin American tournaments and stuff is extremely competitive. So our better players, they are accustomed of high level competition, you know. So I'm never surprised when they come in and you put them in, they fit right in. They just jump right in and they play. So it's like, that's what they do, you know.
I have a question about, you mentioned that it's an investment for the parents, and one of the biggest costs money-wise is the travel opportunities. Can you kind of break down how that leads to exposure to the colleges and professional teams?
Okay, so I mean, in general, to play travel ball, you're gonna pay. Like I'll give you an example. To play travel ball for the club that I'm on, it's about around $1,500 to $1,700 for the whole entire summer, which includes uniform, entry fees to get into tournaments and so on. So you gotta pay. So I mean, it's not for free. In some cases, things are worked out. I've been able to work something out with my guys where they didn't pay the full tuition or the full cost for the summer ball. And for me personally, you know, my thing is you gotta, if like for me, the kids parents help me out with some type of funding so I could help maintain the kids. You know, I'm feeding them. Everywhere they go, I take them to practice, so on and so forth. So there's a level of some type of funding that I receive just to help with the kid being able to play ball up there in the States. Of course, the trip, you know, and then you give them some type of level of spending money. So you're gonna spend some money. You gotta invest some money. But at the end of the day, it's about exposure. We're trying to put them in an environment where they can be exposed on a regular basis. We play tournaments. Average tournament, you play at least 4 to 7 days. We play tournaments every week for the entire summer. We have played at least so far about three to 4 tournaments. These guys have played maybe like 2. And we have about 3 or 4 more to play. So they get a lot of games in where a lot of coaches and stuff come to the games and kind of check out the players. And of course, if you're performing, the guys on top of the organization would put your names up. Contact guys, come and take a look at you and so on and so forth. So my thing is the parent that I deal with understand that it's not for free, it's an investment for their kid. But at the end of the day, what you're gonna gain, the money is not the money that you're putting in right now is more than worth it.
So I'm gonna give you 2 big jobs right now.
Mm-hmm.
You are now running Sports Park and Recreation, and you are the governor of the
Virgin.
Yes, 2 big jobs. So with this power that I now give you, how would you improve VI sports in the Virgin Islands?
Okay, well, and so let me say this, and I think sports and park from the little the inside things that I know, I think they are on the right track. First of all, you got to improve the facilities. And when I say improving, it's not just about, let's be talking about baseball in particular. It's not just about getting Griffith to look how it used to look before. I'm talking about real renovation. Batting cages. You gotta create the facilities, even all the sports. If you want to improve the athlete and build the athlete, you gotta first of all have the right facilities. So make sure you build all the parks, Lionel Roberts. You know, every park should have certain things, batting cage, a pitcher's mound. Like those things should just be built in. There's no reason why kids or teams or whomever organization should go to a facility and you don't have the basic necessities. Any park in here in the United States that you go to around here, everybody's decked out. Cages. When you go to high school, every high school has their own personal cage or their own personal whatever facility. So the first thing is getting the facilities up to speed, because what you're doing is their job is to give resources so the organizations can do what they're supposed to do. You know, so I don't see housing a park as being like necessarily a savior in terms of getting the athlete better. They're just creating an environment. It's about creating the right environment so we could get the best out of the athletes. So that's number one. The supporting programs like this stuff they're doing, I think is pretty cool with this virtual training with the different sports. You know what I mean? Guys can actually go out physically on the field. So doing something like that is showing me that they're forward thinking. You know what I mean? In terms of what they're doing. And also just tying in better with the organizations that are out there, really finding out like what their purpose are, what their missions are, and supporting the efforts for baseball, little league, and so on and so forth. Just supporting the efforts. Again, I housing parks and rec, because I know some of the players in the upper echelon of the department. They have really been making some efforts in terms of preparing for the future of the islands. You know, I think the biggest thing for me is really facilities. Like if you could get the facilities in place, then you could allow the different organizations, from the Little League to the travel team to whomever other organizations are out there, they would be able to now put things more in perspective. You could do tournaments, you could do annual tournaments, not just Little League tournaments. You could do tournaments during, like, say, the Christmas, different organizations. You know what I mean? So opportunities, that would create tremendous amount of opportunities in the near future. And also to partner with private corporations and stuff like that in terms of getting things done as it pertains to sports. We got sun, sand, and beach. Even the beach volleyball. There's so much different things you could do. It's incredible. People want to come to the islands. They come to take care of business as well as a vacation. We got to give them a reason to come. So at the end of the day, the whole sports tourism thing, just let's start tying it in. You know, I feel they're in a unique position to kind of promote that. Sports tourism is a serious thing. It's very doable. It's very doable. You know, we just have to stop thinking that it's just an idea. It's more than an idea. But people are going to come to something that's working, that's churning, that's running. Once we start the engine, I think you'll get the fuel. You put the fuel in and it's going to run. But we got to start and we got to believe in it. You know, sports and park, the government, they got to see that it's an opportunity, right? Man, it's this right now, that's the opportunity that we are not taking advantage of in the Virgin Islands. Sports, tourism, we are playing around with it. It's there. It's ripe for the picking. We just got to start and get it going.
Absolutely.
I don't remember the second question you asked. You said about sports and parks, but who was another?
So you're also the governor. So you
governor?
have,
oh, man.
yeah, you have the power to make
spot?
the funds go where they need to go. You could talk to the Senate.
So again, sports tourism. So, you know, the government, you know, is lacking in funding. It's about trying to find ways to create more funding, create more revenue. So I personally, again, sports tourism.
Yeah, you answered the question.
Let's be open-minded to that. Like really, for me, we have a lot of guys. I'm telling you, I have a lot of sidebar conversation with professional guys in baseball, professional guys and stuff that want to do stuff. They want to be involved. They want to build stuff. But the government, the government got to be open-minded to these things. We got to sit down and on the table and negotiate and start figuring out how we could get these things done. You know what I mean? Instead of just saying, oh, that's just recreation. No. Entertainment is money. Whatever entertainment is, there's big money, profiting. So we got to start really paying attention to that and really start that, going that direction,
Yeah. I see you wearing the Ballers in the VI shirt today. That's
yes.
It's a clinic in St. Thomas that they've had that exposes young children to baseball. It allows professional players to come down, share their experiences with young children.
Right.
What do you think is the importance of getting students involved in athletics at a young age that the Ballers in the VI clinic to focus on?
Well, number one, again, so Ballers in the VI, Ball is Life Foundation, which is a organization that I'm a part of. That me and a couple guys who basically share the same views when it comes to sport, we decided to start this organization. So we actually, Ballers in the VI was a concept created by Jabari Blash. He did that before we did the last one. He did, I think, one or two before, but we felt that our organization would be able to come in and assist him in many different levels, help in terms of promoting it, marketing it, and whatnot. So for us, our main thing is Ball is Life Foundation is to help assist in the efforts of organizations that are in place to help them enhance the experience for the kids. For me, sports is just sports for me is more than just something for the kids to play or do. It's an opportunity for them to maybe be able to piggyback and get out and hopefully get a college degree and do bigger things, maybe even play professional sports. So it's a jump, it's a springboard to maybe do bigger things for the kids. So for us, it's all about trying to get them to be on the right track with fundamentals, the way they see the sport, view the sports, moving forward. So as they get old and they get more mature in the game, they will be able to, seize the opportunities that are in front of them. When you're young, you're playing for fun. You're playing because you like the game, the love of the game. You have a bigger dream of whether playing pro or going to college and stuff. But it's all about kind of helping them sort of develop their skill sets physically and mentally as it pertains to the sport. So it's very important at a young age to challenge the kids. I personally feel that some people feel that information, giving them too much information is not good. I think kids are like sponges. You feed them the information, they may not get everything, but you give them the information because it's a growth process. It's not going to happen overnight. We're talking about any sport you're playing. If you're playing basketball from the time you're 6, by the time you're 17, you're going to keep maturing and growing in the sport. You're going to learn fundamentals, the basic fundamentals, and then there's more involved fundamentals. So you always continuously adding up onto the block of information that you're receiving. So definitely you got to get them from young. There's certain things that you have to be able to ingrain in them from a kid. And then as they grow, you got to keep giving them more, challenging them more, and teaching them more. What I kind of find a lot of times is with our young athletes is when they're young, like say for instance, the league, when a kid get out of 9 to 12, there's another level. It's another level of teaching. So he has already maxed out his level of where he have his growth potential. So now the coaches on the other level now have to introduce them into higher level learning stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't find that to be the case a lot of times. So guys kind of get stumped in their growth process. You know what I mean? And to me, that's where we definitely need to improve. When we talk about improvement in the Virgin Islands, we gotta improve our level of training. We gotta improve on the level of training, definitely. Developmental training for the kids. Physically, guys gotta be more in the gym at a certain age. There's certain things you gotta do depending on certain sports to improve your physical skill set. You know what I mean? So that's the area I see we really need to improve in down there is so we have a lot of coaches. Everybody coach, when everybody don't train. It's a difference, you know.
All right, Mr. Brannigan. I think we're just about out of questions. Anything else you want to add?
For me, again, it's all about the Virgin Islands. For me, I'm passionate about what I do. I don't do it to impress anyone. I just want us as a community, when it comes to sports, to really start to connect the dots. We got to start connecting the dots. And I don't mean just baseball guys. I mean sports in general. We got to see what we have in front of us is something tremendous. I think we owe it to our kids to give them opportunities. We expect a lot out of the kids, but we as the adults and organizers, we got to do our part in terms of creating the environment where they could really grow and, catch flight and take flight. You know what I mean? We really got to figure out how to get that done. And I think the pieces are there. People just got to stop. In the islands, we have a kind of way of, keeping your corner. You know what I mean? People are very sensitive to things. A lot of things, people are very sensitive. We gotta get over a lot of hurdles in terms of how we relate with one another. You know what I mean? And everybody just kind of find a way to be part of a bigger picture, a bigger puzzle, and just everybody play their role. And I think we could really get things done, man. For me, I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing. I do this because this is me. So I'm not doing it to get any accolades. When the accolades come, of course, I'm gonna accept them. But I do it, and I wanna do it. I wanna do it with people. I wanna be a part of something big. I don't want it to be about me. I wanna join it. It's about joining forces. What you guys doing are totally, you guys playing your role. You guys are coming out and getting the word out there, getting the narrative out, getting people to be able to come out and have this discussion. You know what I mean? So everybody should be playing their role. And that's my main thing, from the government to the parent, legal official to the kids, everybody. And I think we could do something really, really big and really, really great for our young kids at the Virgin Islands when it comes to sports, using sports as a vehicle to bigger and better things.
Well, I really appreciate your time today. And I just want to remind viewers to stick and stay with Mad Hot Media for the latest and greatest in Virgin Island sports.
Thank you guys for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.